Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. And we're into week 17. Only 2 weeks left. Got my Angry Run shirt, which means, hey, Christmas was just that much better. Kyle, that one's for you, buddy. Great show. Anyways, week 17. Everything's starting to wind down. Playoffs right around the corner. And teams jockeying for position. Got some matchups, and hey, let's see if we can go 16-0 on the picks. Speaking of the picks, on the season, I'm 158-83, not bad, and had a decent 10-6 win-loss ratio in for week 16. So could have been better. Thought it was gonna be, and then a couple of little twists happened, and well, especially that Monday, boy, that was, the 49ers. Wow. If they meet each other again in the Super Bowl, Ravens and 49ers, guess who the heavy favorites are going to be? Yeah, the Ravens. And they're the team that nobody wants to play right now. See, these two teams are more than likely going to get their first round byes and the number 1 seed. And if and when they do play again, Kyle Shanahan, he's gonna make some adjustments. He's that kind of a coach, one of the elite head coaches in this league, and he'll be better prepared. He'll have his team better prepared. So should be that much more of an interesting matchup, providing it does happen, which, there's a better than 50% chance that it will. So, but we'll see, because that's why they play the game, because we just don't ever know. If we knew, there wouldn't be need to play the game. You just crown a champion every year. So anyways, tonight, Thursday night, Jets at Cleveland Browns. Taking the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco is lighting it up. He's got that offensive coach, and that's helping him out a lot. The defense is still being the Cleveland defense. And surprise, I wouldn't be surprised if this Cleveland team, I feel that they're very capable of making a Super Bowl appearance. They're hot at the right time, peaking at just the right time. They could make a run. They can and they can beat Baltimore. They can go into anybody's house and beat them there. They can beat Miami. They can go and beat Buffalo, providing Buffalo gets in, and I think they will. But this team is one of the teams that is I don't want to say sneaky good, but it's like they're sneaking up on you, but they're not. They just don't have a lot of people just don't have the expectations that they can go that far. I personally believe that they can, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see them in the Super Bowl with the Rams. Get to that later. So Cleveland over the Jets tonight, Thursday Night Football, the last Thursday Night Football of the season. The last Saturday game of the season. And speaking of Saturday, so we got the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. And yeah, I know I've been a long-time Dallas fan, but I look at them through a lens of reality and not drink the sugared Kool-Aid that they present. The star is bright and blinding, so I put thick sunglasses on and look at them for what they prove that they are. They're a team that will beat down lesser teams. They probably should have beaten Miami this last week, but it still goes down as a loss because they lost. Not going to go into referee stuff, because at the end of the day, it's what counts mainly is who got the W, and Miami did. Something had to give there. And so Dallas, in this proving ground state that I referred to it a few weeks ago, where they have the opportunity to change their own narrative, starting with the Bills and on to the Dolphins. They're 0-2 in this stretch of 3 playoff caliber teams with winning records, being the aforementioned Bills and Dolphins, and this week the Lions. They needed to go 2 out of 3 and so far they're 0-2. So I think their proving ground is pretty much done. It's over. We won't see them get past the divisional round. That's what it's looking like yet again, until they prove us wrong. And so far they just haven't been able to do that. No matter what they say, what they tell us, it just hasn't happened. So chances are it's a better, and giving it credit, better than 50% chance that they're going to go on to their 28th year, working on 29 next year of a conference title game drought. The upside for them this week against the Lions is they're playing at home, and they're a totally different team at home. But again, it's a playoff team. This is a division winner. They will host a playoff game, more than likely win it. They have a better running game than Dallas does. Their receivers are at least as good as Dallas's. Their defense is good, and they can get after. They have the machine known as Hutchinson that can get back there and just create a bunch of havoc in the backfield for Prescott. If Detroit loses this game, I believe they will have beaten themselves. Ben Johnson is, hopefully he's with them again next year, sees them through to winning a Super Bowl, or at least competing for one. But definitely more creative. I believe that the Lions they're better coached, better running game. Their defense can match up with Dallas offense. They can get after the passer. I said better running game, better coached. Their offensive line, all it has to do is hold long enough. They have a Super Bowl competing quarterback in Jared Goff. He's been there. He knows what it is. He knows what it's like. He's won a conference title game. So, edge, Lions. I'm taking the Lions over the Cowboys. Once again, prove me wrong. That's all you got to do. So far, you're 0-2. And we don't count wins against division rivals because, aforementioned reasons in weeks past, nobody knows you better than your rivals. So anyways, on to Sunday. Tennessee at Houston. To make a long story short, taking Houston. Hopefully C.J. Stroud will play. I think he will. It's looking like that he will play. So I'm taking Houston over Tennessee in the beginning of the 10 a.m. slot games. And then from there, we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, I don't know if Justin Fields is going to be back next year, or if they're going to they're going to take Caleb Williams and make a change at quarterback. Just don't know exactly what direction they're going to go. Chances are they're going to go for Williams. So Justin has got to continue putting up his performance to put up good film. Taking the Bears over Atlanta and Chicago. And then probably the biggest game of the week, Miami Dolphins at Baltimore Ravens. And Miami, they want respect. You beat Dallas. Something had to give there, and it did. Dallas lost. You won. Could have and maybe even should have went the other way, but it didn't. W at the end is all that counts. But how are you going to slow down the Ravens? Are you going to figure out how to manage Lamar Jackson? Go back and look at how the Chiefs have in the past. They're the only ones that have really beaten, aside from a division rival, the Ravens consistently in recent memory. You're going to do what you're going to do. I'm going to take the Ravens at home over the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a rough stretch. I think they're going to lose out with Baltimore and then Buffalo next week, but we'll see what happens this week. Ravens over Dolphins. And then from there, New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is peaking at just the right time. Baker Mayfield is playing as good as any starting quarterback in this league who is not a backup. And backups, that's another story altogether. But he's playing as well as any quarterback in this league, including Lamar Jackson. So I'm taking Tampa over New Orleans. There will be the division leaders, the division winners, in my estimation. So Tampa over New Orleans. From there, the Buffalo Bills hosting the New England Patriots, quote unquote, your classic trap game. New England would love nothing more than to spoil Buffalo's playoff party. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. Buffalo over New England in Buffalo. And let's see if Buffalo can return to that running game that they looked so impressive with against Dallas. That's something they're going to need to sustain to make a real legitimate playoff push. They cannot just put a cape on Josh Allen and say, "Go get it, Superman." Not this time. It just won't do. You need that running game. You need to keep that established and keep it pounding. So, Buffalo over New England. And then Arizona Cardinals visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles won this last week. Wasn't overly impressive, but they got the win. I believe in the first time in 20 years that a team in the NFC East will finally win the division back-to-back years, and that will be the Philadelphia Eagles. They will, I believe, beat Arizona. And even if Dallas does win this weekend, I believe Philadelphia will win out. They'll win the division. And so Philly over Arizona. And then you got the Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, it's hard to take the Jags right now because they're struggling so much. And Lawrence has just not looked himself ever since he got banged up a few weeks ago. The upside is Carolina's struggling as well. Worst team in football, record-wise anyways. I'm going to take the Jags at home in a squeaker win over the Panthers. Next, the Raiders riding high off their win over Kansas City at the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts at home over the Raiders. And then the LA Rams at the New York Giants. The Rams are peaking again at the right time. They're the team that nobody saw coming. Almost nobody, because I did see them coming. And like I said, they've got a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's got the most experience, and he's the only quarterback in the conference with any Super Bowl experience. Well, excuse me, Jared Goff. But Stafford won the Super Bowl, and he has an elite head coach. They found their running game. Their defense is playing well. I mean, they're the team that nobody wants to play, and this is a team that I can see making a run in the playoffs and making a Super Bowl. I believe they can do this. I know they can. They've been showing it week in and week out. They're consistently good on both sides of the ball. They peaked at the right time. McVay is doing his job as an elite head coach, and it's not the squeezing talent every little bit out of what you've got. It's taking your players and doing your job, and he's doing it well. He's got good players, young players, and they're maturing faster than a lot of people give them credit for. Puka Nacua, nobody saw him coming. Well, I guess McVay did because, they drafted him. So, Rams over the Giants this week. And from there, San Francisco gets to take out their anger on the Washington. We used to be Redskins. And so look for San Francisco to rebound in a big way and take out their anger on Washington. And I wouldn't be surprised they decide to run the score up a bit. but it should be a convincing win. 49ers over Washington. Now, on to the afternoon slate games. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Seattle Seahawks. Tough place to play. Steelers still with their quarterback woes. Their defense is still their defense, and that's what drives this team. I think this is a difficult one because Seattle, they can play good or they can not play good. Pittsburgh's defense is very tough. I'm going to take. I marked down the Steelers to win this, and I'm still struggling with it because they have such issues at quarterback. But I'm going to go ahead and stay with the Steelers over Seattle on the road. So that's a tough one. That could be an ugly game. Somebody's got to come out with a win. Don't want to see any ties. So yeah, Pittsburgh over Seattle in Seattle. Now in the America's Game of the Week spot, the 1:25 p.m. game, Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are still struggling. In my estimation, my opinion, the Chiefs and the Eagles alike, they're having, it's like another version that we haven't seen before of a Super Bowl hangover. We're used to seeing a Super Bowl hangover being you just ain't right the next year and you just don't even qualify for the playoffs. Yet these teams, one already has and one should, that being Kansas City. I think they're in a Super Bowl hangover. If this was Joe Burrow under center, with the way the Chiefs have been struggling, I'd have to take the Bengals. But there is still Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and Andy Reid is still there, and Cincinnati. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm going to give the edge to Kansas City. Not going to give up on the Chiefs. Not going to give up on my Chiefs. So Kansas City over Cincinnati there. And rounding out the Sunday afternoon games, the LA Chargers at the Denver Broncos. Broncos benched Russell Wilson for the remainder of the season. So Jarrett Stidham will finish the season for Denver. The Chargers have been playing better ever since Staley has been fired recently. So you got Stick, the under center for the Chargers, Stidham under center for the Broncos. Division rivals. One quarterback's been benched. Another head coach has been fired. I'm going to take the Chargers over the Broncos in Denver. Chargers over Broncos. And then the last game of the week, the Sunday night game. No Monday night game this week. Monday nights are over. The last Sunday night game. Well, of course, no, next Sunday, so not exactly the last Sunday night game, but no more Monday night football. So Sunday night football, Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. And we're just not sure what you're going to get with the Vikings. Jordan Love has been making people, including myself, eat their words a little bit. He turned things around as far as his play is concerned. Their defense is not good at all. Top two of the worst, arguably. Minnesota, they're at home. Boy, what is each team going to do? I guess we won't know until we find out when we see the game and they play it out. I'm going to take Minnesota at home. And so that wraps up Week 17. 2 weeks left until the end of the season, and the playoffs begin in 3 weeks. And so it's going to be a fun ride. Got some playoff spots to finalize, some division winners to settle up, some wild card spots to be filled. And I think the last two spots, the number 6 and 7 seed for the NFC, is going to go to the Rams and quite probably the Seahawks. And with the AFC, I believe Buffalo will get in. And so it's going to be an exciting playoffs to watch. There's going to be some surprises. Look for the Browns and the Rams to surprise people. And you wouldn't be surprised if it would be a surprise, but some people wouldn't be if the Eagles don't make the conference title game. But we shall see. So everybody enjoy and have a good, happy New Year's, a good, safe New Year's. Excuse me. So take care. Thanks for hanging out with me. Enjoy. Bye-bye.